On the first page of a story, the future seemed so bright.
Alright, first question. What is the most important piece of work you've completed? I need you to do this so I can get a good grade. Just do it.
I don't know, you can't just throw a question like that at me. Okay, so last night I drew this picture. Actually, I painted it, and it was on a canvas, and I started out really simple, and I just had this moon and a few stars and a few waves. But then I really like the Impressionist painters, so I thought I had messed it up by putting blue in the sky, but then I dotted it all with my fingers and made it kind of like this gradual blue, so by the time it got to the ground it was really subtle and you could hardly see it, and at the top it was really dark. And so by the time it was done and you looked at it, it looked like this Impressionist painting of the ocean with like this moon and all these stars and like a galaxy, and that was pretty cool because I really liked the piece, and it also looked like something from one of my favorite time periods. My closest friend is Emily Clyatt because we've been friends since I was 3 and she was 4, and she's always, even though she lives like really far away, she lives about like an hour and a half away, but even though she lives far away, it's okay because we still, even though we don't talk like every day, it's kind of better that way. She's always there when I need her, and she's really fun to hang out with. Being able to express myself in art, it really depends on what I'm using for media and supplies. Usually paint is the best way to express yourself. I like painting with my fingers because I feel like I'm part of the art rather than just sitting there with a pencil observing it. And by the time I get done and I'm covered in paint, what I put on the canvas or on the piece of paper feels more like me than what I have drawn. So I think that just giving yourself permission to have freedom and being able to draw what you actually think of and what you create is a great way to express yourself. No, I don't have any regrets because I think that we make decisions and we do things, everything happens for a reason, and I think that things that I've done that are stupid have only improved or made me better or shown me like a different way to be. Okay, my favorite song is Colors by Sigur Rós, and I like it because it's classical, but it has this really cool flow to it, and it just sounds really cool, and it reminds me of Pride and Prejudice, so it's one of my favorite songs. My greatest dream for the rest of my life, well, it's kind of detailed. I would like to ultimately become many things. I would really like to be an art teacher or an artist. But I think one of my dream jobs would be to work for National Geographic as a photographer, and then write a book, and then move to the beach. But first I'm going to travel all over the world. I'd like to live in Greece for a while, or maybe for the rest of my life, I'm really not sure. Live in New York, a few different places. I'd really like to become a preface writer, even though I don't think that's a career, but I think it'd be really awesome to like read all the books you want to and then write prefaces for them. And then settle down and have a family. I don't have a favorite piece of art, but one of them is Nighthawk by Edward Hopper, because I really like the contrast and the way it's really dark, like in some parts, and then the central part is really light and you can see the people in detail, but they're not like too sharp, but they're sharp enough that you can tell who they are and what they're doing. And I really like it because it just has a nice balance to it. I could meet one person, dead or alive, I think it would be Mother Teresa, because she's really cool, and she's all these awesome quotes, and I really like the work that she did, and she's just so little, but she's so powerful, so I just think that she'd be a really awesome person to meet. I think that there are a few different people. I think that, like, my parents, of course, like, big impact on my life. But really random people that you wouldn't think. Like, I had this teacher in seventh grade. She was one of my English teachers, Mrs. McAvoy, and she was such a cool person. But I really admired her because of how smart she was and how much she liked literature. And I had another teacher, Mr. Kelleher, and my art teacher, June, because she's really funny. But she's so out there, but in a good way, and she makes you think. And also, this lady that was in one of my art classes, and her name is Jen, and she's really cool. So I think, like, with my teachers at school, they just got me, Mrs. McAvoy got me to read all the time, and I used to hate reading, and now I love reading. And Mr. Kelleher just made me want to learn more. And June makes me want to paint all the time, and actually got me thinking about maybe becoming an art teacher. And Jen, just the way she does her own art and her photography makes you think and just makes you question some things. My favorite book is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, because it's just really, the characters are really cool and you can relate to them, and I like the time period that it's set in. It's set during the Depression. So they don't have a lot in this family. They live in Brooklyn, and I really like the parents because it's about this girl, and her dad is an alcoholic, and her mom just works so hard, and in the end, like, her dad ends up dying. But it's just amazing to see how much her mom is willing to do because she still loves him so much. And the girl is just so powerful, and she never ends up marrying or anything, but she, just the way she works and learns and is just so into reading and things like that, it's just really interesting book.